We back on Clubhouse, and today we in UOD. Unity overrides our destruction. And they got a great topic. It's a great listen, man. Y'all need to tune in and listen to everything. It's some dope stuff they talking, right? From the slaves trade made Damus and Kiways, right? From the slave trade, right? This was never us. It's the gangs, the Crips, the Bloods, any street gang wasn't started and meant for us to be killing each other, right? Some dope stuff, man. Hey, y'all tune in and watch. It's a must watch.
This is the ongoing war. It basically speaks on Bloods and Crips that were made in America, because this is not our identity. This is our identity that was placed upon us. So let's get into this.
In the 1950s, three friends from South LA, Ron, Tomasi, grew up reaching for their piece of the American dream.
The most significant thing was when I went to join the Boy Scouts. Okay, the Boy Scouts of America. My mother takes me up to the Scout Troop at Goodyear Rubber Plant, where the original blimp is from 1933 to 1983 parked in our neighborhood right there. So I go up there to join the Boy Scouts. My mother takes me up to the Scoutmaster. He was nice, but he tells my mother, well, I don't know, but some of the parents might object because it was a white troop. See, they say, be prepared, do a good turn daily. A scout is trustworthy, loyal, hopeful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, brave, clean, and reverent. See, that's the Boy Scouts of America, a bunch of racists.
We couldn't be Cub Scouts, couldn't be Boy Scouts, couldn't be Explorer Scouts. We couldn't get involved in organized activity that would take us anywhere that would bear us any kind of good fruit. You see, so we built an auxiliary alternative.
With names like the Businessmen, the Gladiators, and the Slossons, black teenagers began forming their own street front fraternities.
Our neighborhood was situated in an area where we were assigned and designated to a little small park on 62nd and Hooper called Slauson Park. That's where our name comes from.
The Slossons would evolve into what many consider to be LA's first.
Called ourselves a gang. That was something that the city and the police would describe us as. We were clubs.
What drew me to Slauson was that they mirrored who I was. And it made one feel like one had some status and you had an identity now, an identity that you didn't have anywhere else. There's a sense of family. There's a sense of acceptance. You also have a way to wield some power because now you've got numbers.
We had rivalries among ourselves, and then we had rivalries with people in other neighborhoods.
Yeah, Slossons and Gladiators, or Slauson and Watts, or Slauson Compton.
But our ring was on the sidewalks, and in the parks, and in the alleys. That's where our ring was.
See, in those days, we'd give you an appointment for an ass whooping. Oh, you had to be there because everybody else in town knew about it. They said, Bird, how good are those things? I said, these things right here? I said, I will beat your hairline all the way back to the center of your head, whoop your sideburns off, beat all the eyebrows off your forehead. That's what we call woofing, though, you know. But yeah, I was good with my hands.
That's why they said, man, these are guns. You know, and you looking for somebody to tell them I'm gunning for him. But it wasn't really about destroying somebody. It was just a competitive thing, you know, just competing with each other.
I used to get stopped by the police all the time. My mother always said, you know, well, what did you do this? I said, I didn't do anything. You know, see, people, including parents, could not believe that the man just stopped you all the time.
Young black men in this society have always been represented as the most threatening figures across the board.
They're viewed as being people who will commit crime.
From 1950 to 1966, the Los Angeles Police Department was commanded by Chief William Parker. Chief Parker ran the police department like a military unit, and the people who bore the brunt of this were the black residents.
Ready, those, get out of that car. Get your hands up. Get your hands up, I said. Drop that purse, get your hands up.
And so the cops were treating these young black men as though they were enemies, as though they were in warfare.
So get them up. Get your hands up. Go. Right this way.
It was an open secret that one of the tacit duties of the LAPD was to make sure people were in the right neighborhoods at the right time. And Alameda Boulevard was the white curtain in LA.
You didn't cross Alameda for no reason at all. East of Alameda, these were white areas. Linwood, Southgate, we couldn't go there. You had cops that didn't want you there.
And blacks that deigned to cross the line were quickly put in place by police officers.
There are barriers, invisible barriers, social barriers, and their job is to reinforce that barrier.
We get stopped, we get harassed. What are you doing here? You're supposed to stay in your neighborhood. One time I was walking down the street on 77th and Central, and the man said, "Hey, you." I heard it, but I kept walking. He said, "Hey, you," and they ran on the curb, jumped out the car and said, "Didn't you hear us calling you?" I said, "I heard you say you, but my name is not you. So, get up against the wall and such and so on." And they tell me I look like I've been robbing. I said, "Well, how does a robber look?" She looks just like you. And so you feel this sense of alienation. You're culturally disoriented. You don't have a sense of identity. And after a while, you begin to internalize this, and you develop a deep-seated self-hatred because you see yourself as having almost no value.
In a free society, I'm walking down the street, police got the nerve to ask me, "Where you going? Where you coming?" Ain't none of your damn business where I'm going. And ain't none of your damn business where I came from. Fuck you talking about where you going? He gonna ask me, "What are you doing here?" You go anywhere and ask anybody else what they doing there? You stop and ask anybody else in this society, man, why do you exist? You understand what I'm saying? But you got the nerve to ask me that all day, every day. Now, what do you think that does to me psychologically? What does that tell me? What message am I being fed? Every day. See, you don't understand that every day he's feeding me a spoonful of hatred. Every day, that's my diet. Spoonful of hatred. You see? And it's just a question of when is this going to erupt? And upon whom is it going to erupt? Am I going to attack myself? Am I going to attack my brother? You understand? Am I going to attack my own image in the mirror? Or am I going to eventually attack the cause of my anger and my frustration? But the point is, I'm a walking time bomb. I'm going to go off someday, somewhere, on somebody. The question is, upon whom?
I wanted to stop it right there, right? I want to ask y'all a question. Before, I'm pretty sure a lot of us, we are from where we from, a community, whether or not you are associated with any of these things that's in the title. We don't need to know that. At the end of the day, we are black, right? Now, I want to ask y'all this. How many times have y'all been approached by police when y'all weren't doing anything as far as illegal? How many times have y'all been harassed, stopped, questioned, just for being black?
A million times. A billion times.
I swear to God, I can't even tell you, bro.
It was in South Central. It was like, especially like Crash and Gang Unit. We never even got a regular pullover. Asked for license registration. They didn't even care about no license or registration. It was get out the car, sit on the curb. It was never a regular pullover in LA. Where you can just give your license, give your registration, get a ticket, and get on. That wasn't happening. You was getting out the car. You was getting handcuffed. You was sitting on the curb. They was tearing your car up, and they radioing in, making sure you didn't steal or rob nothing or whatever. And this goes on for hours and hours, and sometimes it happens 2-3 times a day. For real.
So I want to ask you this, LS. I want to ask you, like, how does that make you feel, though? Like, even when you like, man, I'm just coming home from the store, or whatever you might have been doing, like, how does that make you feel knowing, like, these people are just going to pull you over, start terrorizing your stuff, looking through it, questioning you, criminalizing you, basically?
Right.
How does that make you feel?
That's a great question, and I'm going to be all the way 100, right? So, when I was young, it was normal, so it wasn't like I was kind of upset. It was like normal. We'd get put over. We told the homies, hey, shut up, man, let them do their job. They're going to handcuff us, sit us on the curb, they're going to search the car. We ain't got no drugs, we ain't got no guns, we out here. We going to the function, we going to wherever we going, right? So it became normal. I didn't understand it was wrong until I got older and started learning the law and started learning how they was doing other races. And then I started to get mad and think back like, man, they was fucking over us, man. You know what I'm saying? But when we was in our teenage, it was so sad that was the normal. Like, it wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't normal. That was the normal thing that was going on, And,
so it's safe to say that what we hearing from this video was still going on even to this day. It's still going on to this day.
I'm talking about the early 2000s, 99, 2000, 2001, yeah. That was still going on. Yeah.
Hey, Stats, my bad, Les. I could just add on to that, bro. I went to school in Coalinga, California. This is probably about 2000. Oh, by Fresno? Yeah, in the middle of nowhere. I don't know where the fuck I was at, but Coalinga, California. You know where that's at, dude? Yeah, my son live out there right now, bro. Okay, so it's a town in the middle of no fucking where, and there's a bunch of Mexicans, or I ain't trying to be rude or not, but there's a bunch of Hispanics and shit, right? So I went out there for basketball, you know what I mean? And my whole entire basketball team was African-American from out of state. We was in a vehicle, and mind you, a vehicle can only hold 5 people. We was all black. We coming from, wherever we coming from, we getting food or whatever, we get pulled over. Nigga, we was so scared, all of us put our arms out the window once we get pulled over. They get us out the car, where y'all coming from, search us, do all this and all of that. Well, okay, y'all match some suspects, but y'all not them, and let us go. Not a ticket, nobody going to jail, no nothing. Just to pull us over and fuck us over and scare the shit out of us, bro. And all we doing is going to get something to eat. We on a college basketball team, bro. You get what I'm saying? So this shit happens daily, bro. Even in New York, it happens every day. Bro, I done stopped. So, like he said, sometime 2-3 times a day, the police will pull me over. Like, every time they see me, especially with my reputation, like, they know I'm probably going to have something. But I was never getting caught with no work. And then they got action at the Blammer, but they pull you over. They'll give you a ticket afterwards and say you ran the stop sign, but I just watch you go past me and bust in the U-turn. Why would I run the stop sign? I got license and insurance. You know what I'm saying? But they gonna still give you the ticket as if that's what you did. I done had the police break into my mama's house with the homicide detectives. looking for murder weapons. So yeah, that they're gonna. I used to feel attacked, bro. That's the word I felt. Like the system was making sure I knew that you at the bottom of the motherfucking system. Don't nobody give a fuck about another black nigga getting harassed, getting stopped. Even as a youth, like 13, 14, 15. They messing with kids. There's a reason.
So I want to ask this, right? Do you think that is the police main objective, is to oppress the people of melanin?
Right. Well, yeah, especially within those inner city communities who are economically deprived. Like they don't want them to go do that in the good neighborhood, like, you know, in the hills and those other places, bro. It's totally different. The way that they treat you, the way they interact with the people. But as soon as you get to the slums anywhere in America, they're aggressive. They pulling you over. They towing your car at a higher rate. But I don't want to get off tangent. But yeah, attack. That's the word that I felt the most.
All right, so let's get back into this. Did anybody want to share any personal experience that didn't get a chance to? Because I don't want to neglect anybody. All right, sound like we good. All right, so we're going to get back into
it. On somebody. The question is, upon whom?
Watts, 1965.
7 p.m. on August 11th, 1965, near the corners of 116th and Avalon. 21-year-old Watts resident Marquette Fry was pulled over by the California Highway Patrol on suspicion of drunk driving. A routine traffic stop until police insisted on impounding Fry's car, despite being less than 2 blocks from his home. Fry's mother, Rena, who owned the car, joined the rapidly growing crowd, who, along with Marquette, grew increasingly belligerent over what they felt was the heavy-handed police response. LAPD reinforcements were called in, a scuffle broke out, and Fry, his mother Rena, and brother Ronald were all taken into custody. The squad cars rolled away, but the crowd continued to swell as word of the incident swept through the neighborhood.
When I walked up on 115th and Avalon, Charles McQuarter from the D'Artagnans, I said, man, what happened? He said, they jumped on Marquette. We just got more and more upset. It was a cumulative thing. It was one racist traffic stop too many.
By 8:15, over 1,000 Watts residents were surging up and down Avalon Boulevard. But by 1 a.m., despite 29 arrests and sporadic reports of vandalism, the situation was assessed by the LAPD as being under control.
Clear the sidewalks up ahead. Please go in your homes. Please go in your homes.
Thursday morning dawned tense, but relatively quiet. At 2 p.m., a meeting was called at a neighborhood rec center, assembling representatives from various community groups, elected officials, the LAPD, the media, and even Rena Fry.
I think that we must stay off the streets. I think the civil rights drive in America has demonstrated that violence will never be the just end to the grievances we have.
But cutting through a call for order came a voice that only the night before was raised by thousands in the street.
See, and I'm going to tell you something. Tonight is going to be another one, whether you like it or not. Wait. Listen, we, the Negro people down here, have gotten completely fed up with this.
Our elders felt you should bite the bullet, suck it out. We know it's wrong. That you can show that you're greater than oppression by outliving it. Show that it doesn't work. It doesn't destroy you. That in the process, we will take the beating.
parents are coming from places where black men are expected to step off the street and say, yes, sir, to a 12-year-old white boy. Where black men are lynched with regularity. And so from their perspective, Los Angeles looks wonderful. They're certainly aware of the flaws, but they recognize it's such an improvement. Their children, however, have a very different perspective.
We come along and say, we ain't gonna teach.
I mean, yeah, it shows, it tell you what they did when we started the Panthers, when we tried to defend ourselves and use the same laws they did with the guns and everything, and just try to show like we're gonna defend ourselves like y'all. What did they do? They demonized it and they switched the narrative against us, and you see what they did. So, you know, it's cool when it's working out for everybody else, but when we try to do the same thing or assimilate, you know, and demonstrate, then we become terrorists. But when the white people do it, or the white groups, you know, they're a patriot group. So we gotta look at the type of shit and how they demonize us when we try to do the right thing to go, you know, defend ourselves and then do right by our own people. They call us terrorists, and I'm gonna land with that.
Right.
I think.
Can I say something too, Eddie?
Absolutely.
I don't.
Let the lady speak.
Okay, my bad. Go ahead, Queen. My bad. Go ahead.
I think that they like to put us in these situations like they just said. I was thinking the whole time, what the fuck anybody gonna do when you trying to feed your family? And they stacking the odds against you. And then they control the media and they control the perspective. And then they continue to divide. So they allow some of us to be at the top of the food chain, you know? But as soon as you get out of line, they won't snatch that shit from up under your feet.
Speak on it.
And then when we get in position, we forget, unlike when we look at other communities, whether it's Irish, whether it's Hispanic, Latina, Latino, whatever, African, Jamaican, whatever, they get one get one ahead, they reach one, get another. But we are divided because, one, we don't know our history. We're picking and choosing. We don't really know. We just grasp into whatever sounds more likely to be true for us individually. And then you have these different communities that come together like-minded, and then there's still division. So divided, you fall. United, you stand. And as long as we keep y'all fighting, so we're just gonna keep y'all in this desperated state of mind, and we're gonna paint this picture that you all are evil. Meanwhile, we are the monsters. But when are we gonna wake up? Because every time I'm around people that have the clue and they have this third eye open that they keep telling me, but yet we still in this stance, I want to know, how open is your eye? Because to me, it's still squinted. And I'll land.
I agree with that.
I agree too.
I definitely agree.
Said. I just want to say, like,
go ahead.
I just want to talk about like the conversation I'll be having with my granny to this day. She's 88, right? She moved in South Central in 1960 something. She's like one of the first blacks on her block, and she was breaking down like a lot of South Central history and Watts and Compton and a lot of these places was all white, and she came from the South, and they came for the South for like a better life because, you know, when she was going to school as being a black woman, she couldn't use that bathroom. She couldn't drink out of that water fountain. So she came to California for a better life, and then when it turned into Crips and Bloods, it's just sickening her like to this day, and that's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying, how we go back, like that video was dope. I feel like this dialogue is dope because, you know, a lot of the Panthers and a lot of situations, a lot of street gangs, whatever you want to call it, was meant to like protect the community and protect our women and protect our families, and then we just Crips and Bloods came and we just tore this shit up, bro. Like it's crazy, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't even know this shit until like maybe a few years ago. You know what I mean? And that shit crazy.
And I wanna elaborate on what you said, like how you say, like the Panthers, and I want people to like do people realize how young a lot of the leaders were?
That's dope. Yeah, they was in their 20s.
Yeah, they was in their 20s.
Little Bobby was 16 years old when he got killed. He was the first original member
He was 17.
He was.
No, who we talking about? Jonathan Jackson, not Bobby. You talking about Jonathan Jackson?
No, Jonathan was what, 17. When Bobby was the first official member outside of outside of Seal and Newton, the first recruit really was Bobby, and he was the youngest to die for checking on Elvis. You know what I'm saying? With heart. Niggas had heart.
Also,
heart.
And I want to get into this too, the part where we become Damus and Kiways. As you heard earlier, they were, like he said, the gladiators, the Slauson boys, the businessmen. They started out as clubs, a group of individuals who live amongst each other and wanted to have, some type of camaraderie. You know what I'm saying? Essentially, they were really looking out for each other. It was the community. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I know you from Whoop-de-Whoop, so we the Slauson boys. We all live on Slauson, so we gon', call ourselves that. We can't be a part of the Boy Scouts. You know what I'm saying? So basically, these are black people just trying to find they where they belong. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't no gang term analogy until police deemed them as such. So now as you get into saying, the relative saying, damn, this gang shit and terrorized the city, this evolved into that based upon the treatment that was, done prior. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have this much distraction, this much brutality, this much fatality, what do you think that's going to do to the mind of these Slauson boys, the businessmen? That just make them look at each other like it's an all-out war. It's us against them. It's us against us. It's like there's no real safe place.
Well, Stats, I think that at that time, the us against us was more so just fists. Like, who they don't mention in there, even though the homie finna come up, and I don't want to be a spoiler, the LA Brims were around at that time. Those were the same type of organization.
And the Pyru boys.
And, hey, get my PTR, Deuce.
Where you at?
The Chain Gang. Who else? Chain Gang.
My dad wore green jackets and watch.
Oh, from Bounty Hunter?
Green Jackets.
He from Bounty Hunter?
He was from Green Jackets. My grandma came to watch in 1944.
Yeah, the Green Jackets, most of them turned into bounty hunters, right? Maybe I'll stand corrected.
Yeah, they probably did, but I don't know that part.
They turned into Gray Streets.
Gray Street. Yeah, some of the Gray Streets are Green Jackets too.
Yeah, because they used to fight the white boys that was called the Spook Hunters.
Spook Hunters.
Tell me about it.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And they was out of Linwood.
Right.
And the Watchtowers, we used to play on those.
Out of Linwood. Hey, Ghost Man, Linwood and Southgate.
Hey, yeah, hold on real quick, because I don't want to. We done went down a whole nother rabbit hole off of the thing. Out of everything that's been said at the end, he ended it properly for this break, because they said we are never to use violence, but they always use violence and justify and legalize. Like, it's cool when you want to use it to take this country, to take slaves and the whole Atlantic slave trade, to keep us in line, right? So that y'all know y'all true place in this country. But it ain't cool when we want to do the exact same action. That's the hypocrisy of this government. But I'm gonna end right there.
It's cool though. It's cool in their eyes when we want to do it to each other. You know what I'm saying? That's why they named us terrorists. So the police and the military got a right to fuck us off, because the military can't fuck with nothing on U.S. soil unless it's declared terrorists. That's when they named Damus and Crips. Damus and the Crips as terrorists, a terrorist group. You know what I'm saying? And what trickles me and fucks with me to this day, homie, is I done did a whole lot of prison time out here in California and throughout the feds, right? How do we come together in them situations right there, but can't do it on the street, homie? I still, that's the $1 million question I still ain't able to answer. It fucks me up every day, man.
I think
that's a dope ass question,
I want to
right?
get on this point too, because as you spoke on the violent part, right? We've had leaders who spoke nothing but peace, and they was met with violence and a fatality. So it's like we're stuck in a rock and a hard place when it comes to us. And in my opinion, I feel like the only way to truly get what we deserve, we will have to infiltrate. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only way. It basically get into these courthouses, get into all of these things that basically they use to oppress us and pretty much, use excessive force.
Facts. Yeah, see, my aunt was a police back in the 60s, right? And she told me, she said back in the day, their mission was put the black police in the white neighborhoods, put the white police throughout Watts, South Central, all that shit on the east side, right? So that right there in itself is what created them white folks to fear us, period. They naturally fear us. When you in prison, homie, you will see a CO handle a white boy a certain kind of way or a Mexican a certain kind of way, but they got to have 2 and 3 COs when it comes to a black. I don't give a fuck if he on swole or not on swole. You see what I'm saying? That shit right there tell you a lot, man. They fear the fuck out of black people, man. Period, point blank. That's why they gun you down. And to us watching on TV, it's like, what did the homie do? He ain't had nothing on him. He didn't have to have nothing on him because that fear is in the motherfucker's heart, man.
Right. So we're going to get back into this. We appreciate that. Follow all of the mods. Please become a member of UOD, Unity Overrides Our Destruction. You know, that's our mission, to unify so we can defy the destruction that some of us see ahead. As California has right now, they're speaking on reparations. They're going through different terms of how they're going to distribute it. We also hear things of overturning qualified immunity. I've been seeing that even in Jersey. So we've even had Cory Booker from Jersey. He's trying to turn lynching into hate crimes. For those that don't know, lynching is not considered a hate crime.
Speak on it, man. Speak on that. Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to make that, a hate crime federally. So, yeah, let's get back into it.